Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Evening Mindset Coffee. What up, Hung? What up, James? What up, Randy? What's going on? Yo, so this is pretty cool. Actually, I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to be doing a little bit of evening mindset. First off, the reason I'm excited is because not only am I streaming on Instagram right now, we are streaming on the YouTube channel, we are streaming on the Facebook page, and we are streaming into the Facebook group all at the same time. I spent the last maybe holy crap, I didn't even realize my dog was in the room. I spent the last maybe 20 minutes figuring out how can I stream from all of the platforms at the same time. And if you can see the setup I have in the house right now, it's crazy. I got the webcam sitting on top of my cell phone. So my cell phone's streaming to IG. My webcam is streaming to Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to be on StreamYard. So if you see me look over at sometimes, what I'm doing is I'm looking at my computer. My computer monitor is over here. I'm excited, but check this out. Get a cup of coffee because we're going to be chilling for about the next 30 minutes or so as we dive into some mindset today. So here's the topic that I really want to get into today. And I actually have it written down because I went through a couple of things. I take Saturdays and Sundays as a moment to recharge. And what I really want to speak about is the power of self-image, right? So hear me out. The power of the self-image is critical when it comes to being able to produce in any area of your life, right? I want to know how many people feel like as you're on a path, whether it's entrepreneurial, whether it's in your workspace, whether it's in a relationship, it's in your own personal development, maybe it's in your physical health, you are in a place where you're not happy where you are currently at right now. You're dissatisfied, right? Like I know for me, I found myself in this position often. I still every now and then find myself in this position where I look and I'm not earning the sort of money I want to earn. I'm not at the physical strength I want to be at yet, right? I'm not at the weight I want to be. I'm not living where I want to live. So I'm looking around and I'm not satisfied with the current situation. It happens. It's actually pretty normal. In fact, if we were so satisfied with everything, it wouldn't really lead us ever into moving on to something else. However, it gets to the point where that dissatisfaction for some people is a motivator, and for others, it's the reason for not getting up and going further, right? They actually hold themselves back. So, what causes us to be in a situation that we don't want to be in? What causes us to get stuck in that position? It's actually pretty simple. It's your self-image. So, what we're going to talk about right now is understanding if you can wrap your mind around the self-image, if you can understand this simple concept, this is the concept that begins to change everything. In fact, I will go and say that nothing changes unless your concept of self changes, unless your self-image, listen to this, if your self-image does not change, you do not change. Any change that occurs will not be long lasting. It will always be temporary. Always. So the goal here is to get to the place where my change is permanent. The way we do this is actually we change the underlying person. So hear me out for a second. Have you ever experienced a situation where maybe it's the amount of money you earn, maybe it's the expectation of how people treat you when you walk into a room? Maybe you're somebody that says, look, when I walk into a room, I know for a fact that people are going to walk up to me, greet me, and want to shake my hand, want to be my friend, want to get along with me well. A lot of people can have this happen for them, right? I know, for example, when I walk into a room, I know for the most part, I will always be greeted with friendly faces. It's a part of my self image, it's a part of how I expect to be treated. Sometimes we don't all recognize this. What up, Ben? Sorry, it's like I'm seeing people jump inside here. I'm like getting distracted by your names. What up, Ben? What up, Brandon? It's hard for me to like see you guys and not say what's up. What up, Sam? So we have an expectation of how we're going to be treated. A part of this expectation on how we're going to be treated allows us to step into the space and ultimately start to create that situation for ourselves. So if your self-image says, look, when I walk to the room, people are going to treat me like garbage, that's what you start to get in your world. That's what you start to get in your day. That's what you start to get into your life. Has anyone ever experienced this? Throw one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Throw one in the chat if you know what it means or what it feels like to walk into a space and ultimately just You live into your expectation. All right, we got some ones in the chat over here on Facebook. All right, so some of you understand this already. And hold up, before we keep going, I'm going to take a sip of coffee there and a little sip of water. All right, cool. So check this out. When we understand that the self-image is going to ultimately manifest and create our reality, we want to get to the place where, okay, if who I am starts to affect what happens to me, how can I change this? How can I create this version of me? So I want to think of a thermostat in your house. Stand at 75 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit, because Celsius would be crazy. So it's set to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. What happens when the window opens up and it's a cold day outside, so the room starts to chill to about 50 degrees? The thermostat automatically kicks on and kicks into high gear. It's going to actually begin to turn the heat on in the room, and it's going to warm the room back up to 75 degrees. Right? It happens automatically. It doesn't need to be told. It's automatically triggered. It's a servo mechanism. It kicks in. So when the room chills down, the thermostat registers that the room is cold and it brings it back up. Vice versa, if it's a hot summer day and someone leaves the door and the windows open and the AC was running and the room starts to get to 100 degrees, the thermostat's going to kick in. It's going to turn the AC on full blast. It's going to push in more cold air to bring the temperature back down to 75 degrees. The same way the thermostat works is the same way your self-image works. So you got to see, if you view yourself as a person who is always getting fired from jobs, right? When you go into work, it doesn't matter what you do. You could be the best customer. You could be the best person working at your job. You could be the best employee. However, because you have this self-image that I'm someone that always gets fired, what you will find is more than likely a situation where maybe an irate customer comes in and starts complaining about you. They start to use your name. An anonymous letter is sent in. Your boss, for whatever reason, dislikes you and just fires you. Right? Your self-image will help fulfill the loop that's there. Right? Just like the thermostat will bring the cold room back up to 75 degrees or bring the hot room back down to 75 degrees, your self-image will bring you back to where it believes you to be. It's important that we understand this because this affects the amount of money we earn. Have you ever noticed that on a good year or a bad year, you earn just about the same amount of money? So before I started changing my self-image, I'm just going to be brutally honest with you guys. When I was coming from the world of like parkour as a parkour coach and working like 3 jobs in New York, I think I was making maybe like 20,000 bucks a year. I mean, I was making nothing. I mean, not even like, it was crazy. Actually, I didn't even realize how little money I was making until later on. I started like stepping into entrepreneurship. I started really becoming more aware of my finances. And as I paid attention more to it, it occurred to me like, wow, dude, you literally made nothing. The chat, like what was available to me was I was able to live at home with my family. It was me, my mom, and my sister. I was able to save money. I had very little expenses. I'm minimalist by nature. I don't spend money often. I don't like material things weren't the things that got me those experiences. So I was able to get by without necessarily realizing how freaking poor I was, in all honesty. So my thermostat was also set around this like $25,000 mark. The people I was hanging out with were also making about $25,000. So everything about my life was kind of always being pulled back to this homeostasis, right? The people I was with, the money I was earning, the sort of jobs I would get, the amount of pay that would come in. And here's this. If I found myself in a situation or a position where I earned more money in one year, the next year I would somehow earn less. So it would average out. So I was always staying in alignment with my self-image. I was always in alignment with that thermostat. If this is making sense, throw a 1 in the chat. I was always staying in alignment with my thermostat. So what I would try to do was I would say, you know what? I need to earn more money. The room is too cold. I need to warm it up, right? So I wouldn't touch the thermostat. I would just say the room is too cold. So I would go and start getting space heaters, right? And I would start putting space heaters in there to try and warm the room up. The challenge is, again, the thermostat would kick on. Once it felt the room getting warmer, it would pull it back down. Like, let's say I wanted to raise the temperature to 80 degrees and I wanted to keep it there. I wouldn't be able to keep it there because the thermostat is constantly working against me, constantly going against me. So instead of fighting the thermostat, we start to realize it's possible to actually go ahead and change the thermostat. And this is the power of self imaging. This is the power of understanding what is your mental blueprint of yourself. You want to understand what is your mental blueprint of yourself. Yo, what's up, bro? Living in California. So when we understand the blueprint of ourselves, this is where it gets interesting. We can start to tweak that blueprint. We can start to add to that blueprint. But first, we need awareness of that blueprint. If you're listening to me right now, you're listening to me for a reason. There's a reason you tuned in today. There's a reason you're still listening to me right now. There's a reason you haven't signed off because something is resonating. That's a good thing. You need to hear this. You might have heard this before. You need to hear it again because the blueprint hasn't changed for you yet, or it's in the process of changing. It will take time. It's a process that takes time. So a way to change the self-image, right? This is what we want. We ultimately want to figure out who wants to know how to change the self-image. Like if you're down to learn and understand this journey of how to change self-image, just throw a one in the chat. Like drop a one in the chat if you're down. I'm gonna wait to get a one in the chat inside there. We got IG Live, we got Facebook, and we got YouTube. Let me see a one in the chat if you're interested in learning how to change the self-image. There we go. We got Cash Flow Ken. So I'm about to be talking with Ken right now, right? We got Living in Cali. There we go. We got Brandon. We got Ravi, right? I want us to engage in this. I want this to be an active conversation. So when we're looking at being able to change the self-image, here's what we want to understand and recognize. The self-image is coming from the subconscious part of your mind. Hopefully you've heard somewhere along the journey on your entrepreneurial path, on your personal development path, that your mind is segmented between the conscious and the subconscious, right? It's not overly confusing. It's actually pretty simple, and it's kind of cool to understand this because the conscious mind, if we want to think about it like this, I want you to think about your mind as like a Tesla, right? It's like a car, the Tesla car, right? And the car has the ability to be driven, and at the same time, the car has the ability to let go of the steering wheel and drive on autopilot. So the conscious mind is something like the driver inside of the car, right? This is the person that can hold the steering wheel and steer and direct with effort. This is the person that can actually set the GPS coordinates on where it would like the car to go, that can turn the turn signals on and change lanes. This person is the conscious driver. So this is the conscious mind. Super cool to recognize because that's you. You make decisions based off of whatever your desires, goals, energy, and efforts want to point towards wherever your awareness is. Now, the subconscious mind is the powerhouse. This is a crazy cool vehicle. Your subconscious mind actually works for you if you properly direct it. So this is actually where the self-image lives. The self-image lives inside of the subconscious. I'm going to say that one more time. The self-image lives inside of the subconscious. Now, the subconscious mind can easily accept new information and it can be swayed into believing whatever it is you give it. However, the way to give it information, you have to be able to pass information to the subconscious mind in a certain manner. See, the subconscious mind, where the self-image lives, where you'll actually be able to change the autopilot direction, does not respond well to brute force and heavy effort. This is key. This is critical. Please listen to this. This is the thing that will help unlock you much faster. This is the thing that helps me change my subconscious mind. This is what helped me change my identity. This is the thing that got me from being a $20,000 a year broke parkour athlete to stepping into real estate entrepreneurship, to owning over 17. Now we're about to be at 19 doors, to doing fix and flips, to doing it all virtually, doing things I've never done before, traveling around the world, becoming friends with multimillionaires and billionaires. I promise you, I promise you, like I would not be talking about this if I did not truly believe in my heart of hearts that it can benefit your life. When you understand how to change the self image because it lives in the subconscious mind, and the reason I'm repeating it is because I want you to catch it because we don't often have these sort of conversations. This is not the sort of conversation you grew up with. This is not the sort of conversation I grew up with. If it was, then you're lucky. I did not grow up with these kind of conversations. So I'm repeating and I'm emphasizing because I want it to get inside. I want you to soak this up. The fact that you're hanging out with me on a Saturday, I appreciate you. And I'm going to honor that. I believe your time and your attention and your energy is more valuable than anything else you can ever possibly give me. So I want to make sure I do right by you. So the subconscious mind will accept information if that information is handed over to it in a relaxed manner, right? That information that you want to consciously put in the directions for the autopilot, for the GPS to change that thermostat, you want to hand it over in a relaxed manner. See, the subconscious is like it's like a woman, it's like someone you're trying to court, right? They're not going to respond to just brute force to you screaming at them, get over here, take this, love me. You have to go and you have to woo it, right? You've got to court it. You've got to show up over, you have to be persistent with it, but persistent with a calm, cool swagger. This is where the magic starts to kick in. So when we start to think about, all right, I want to change my self-image. I want to start to become a better version of me that I already know exists inside of me. I basically want to pull that version of me up to the surface, right? I want to uncover it because it's already in there, right? We have to understand there's going to be a couple of things that we have to accept as truth right off the bat. There's going to be some assumptions we need to make in order to move forward. So for the sake of this conversation, I just want you to make a couple of assumptions. I want you to first make the assumption that the version of yourself that you want to achieve is already living inside of you, that you are already standing on top your acres of diamonds. In other words, all you have is all you need. The resources that you need to gather, right? Imagine that it's already in the house. Imagine that you are Robin. You're, if you know Batman and Robin, right? Imagine that Bruce Wayne just brought you into the house. You're young Robin and you're inside the mansion. It's your first night in there. And you're thinking, man, I really want to go and avenge my parents and I want to go become this great superhero. And you're already sleeping above the Batcave. The Batcave's already down there, right? So we're going to make the assumption that the Batcave's there. You just haven't found the entry to it yet, but it's already there for you. So it's not like you have to go out and find it. It's already there. It's just a matter of now getting into it, gaining access. So understanding that the version of yourself is already there inside of you. It's already in the subconscious mind. We just simply want to go and meet it. We're going to want to get to it in a relaxed manner. The way we start to do this is we actually want to sit down. We want to make time. Make time. It will take time for yourself in your day to actually get away, unplug from the tech, unplug from the cell phone for a minute, unplug from the computer for a moment, unplug from the people and the responsibilities. Give yourself 15 to 30 minutes, right? This is critical, 15 to 30 minutes. This time you're going to be alone with yourself. If it's hard for you to find that time in the day, because I get it. Some of you have kids. Some of you have parents you're looking after. Some of you live in situations where the house is a full house with noise going on all the time. Step away. If you need to, wake up early. If you need to, do this at night after everyone else is asleep, right? If you need to, when you're on your way home from work, stop at a Starbucks. Stop somewhere where you don't know anybody and nobody knows you, and you can just sit with your eyes closed for a minute and have time to be by yourself. Put your headphones in so people just think you're listening to music, but you're not going to even be playing any music. What you're going to do is you're going to get to a place where as you're stopping and you're taking this moment to be alone, you're going to get your body to relax. Now, here's this. This is how this is going to work. When you do this, you want to begin to tell yourself, relax. It's going to be 3 steps. I'm only going to give you 3 steps. So I promise you this is not confusing. In fact, I would write this down so you don't forget, right? Step 1, you're going to find a quiet place. You're going to give yourself 15 to 30 minute time blocks. If you don't have that, if you only have 5 minutes, use your 5 minutes, right? Something is better than nothing. If you can give yourself more time, amazing, because it will take a little bit of time. Get to a place where you can relax. You're going to take that deep breath. Daniel Quijano, what's up, bro? You're going to find that place where you can relax, and you're going to take that deep breath for you. As you take that deep breath, what I want you to start doing is giving yourself a mental signal, a mental cue, and you're going to tell yourself simply this: relax. Let your body physically begin to relax and allow it to loosen up with the tension. Allow it to drop some of the tension as you're taking those deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Sometimes I've worked with people, and I'll be honest with you, as I'm telling them to relax, they're struggling, they're stressing out because they're like, I'm trying to relax, like I feel so tense. Look, different people are going to relax to different states. All I need you to do is relax from wherever you are. Let's say you relax from here to here. Congratulate yourself. Like, seriously, that's okay. That is absolutely fine. Like, give yourself a pat on the back. I'm clapping for you. If you can get yourself to relax from here to here, I am happy, because you are in the practice now. You are actively increasing your ability to relax. It's only day one. This is the equivalent of if you were a toddler, if you were a newborn, and you just stood up for the very first time on your legs before wiggling and dropping. I am ecstatic. I'm just like, holy crap, you did it. You stood up. You stood up. You relaxed. You relaxed. Right? We're not going to compare ourselves to anybody in this moment. This is the purpose of getting alone. This is the purpose of being by yourself. You got to learn to spend time with you. The only person I want you comparing yourself to is your own version, who you were yesterday, who you used to be. That's the only person I want you comparing, because I just want you to see the progression that you're making. So as you get yourself to relax, whether it's your body is going full limp and you're like a rag doll on the floor, or you just feel like, all right, like I'm definitely a little bit looser. With that breath, I feel a little bit of weight off my chest. Good. Perfect. You're getting your body to physically relax. It's important that this part happens, because, again, we want to communicate with the subconscious mind. So we want to get the guard down. We want to let the guard down. So as we are now relaxing a little bit, we're going to move to step 2. So we're only going to be here for about 30 seconds to a minute. Just tell yourself. For me, I like to give myself a cue. I literally just tell myself, relax. I'll actually just speak that out loud to myself. I'll say, relax, right? As I'm getting to that place of being relaxed, this is where it gets interesting. I now begin to imagine myself inside of a movie theater. I have a private movie theater in my home. It's my own. I've got the big seat. I've got the big screen ahead of me. What's going on, Carlos? I've got the big screen ahead of me. And on this screen, what I actually want to project in front of me is the more ideal version of what I'm looking to build, right? I now want to begin to project some of my dreams. And I'm not going to judge myself for the dreams I project, right? If I want to have a nice house, I'm going to start to project the nice house. If I want to be healthier, I'm going to project the good health. If I want good friends, if I want to be able to know that the people that I'm surrounding myself are genuinely caring about me, right? Whatever it is I want to create in my life, I'm going to begin to project it on this movie screen. And I just want to sit back and like watch this movie screen as an observer, I'm in the audience. What's up, bro? Man, you guys have been killing it with the videos, Carlos. So I want to begin to project on this movie screen what it is I'm wanting to create. This is going to be a lot of fun for some of you, right? A lot of us, we haven't done this since we were very young children. We haven't tapped into this power, the power of the imagination, the power. This is one of the best gifts that you were blessed with. When you were brought onto this planet, you were left with this gift from your creator to create. You want to tap into this. You want to play with this. You want to use it. It's like a muscle. So as we begin to project on the movie screen of our life, this is step 2. We're projecting on that movie screen of what it is we want to build. We're going to start to get some vague images at first, right? Be okay with that. It might be a quick glimpse. You might have full detail. It's going to be different for everybody. Whatever you see is what you see. This is okay, because we're going to move into step 3, but we're going to come back to step 2 in a little bit. So I want you to hold on to that. So after you've spent about a minute, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, looking at this monitor, looking at this projection on your screen, we're going to go over into step 3. And step 3 is really interesting. This is one of my favorite parts. We're going to actually ask our mind, we're going to ask our conscious brain to show us something. So I like to think of this as a computer. And when I'm in my computer, I'm going to go into the search function and I'm going to look for a certain file. And I'm going to ask the computer of my mind to show me a file where I've been successful. So I'll say, I do it like this. This is what it looks like when I do it. Okay, show me a time I've been successful. I'll actually say that out loud to myself because I work well with audible cues. So I actually speak to myself. And what happens is my brain pulls a file. I never know what the file is going to be. Sometimes the file is the first time I got a 100 on my spelling test. Sometimes the file is when I got my dream girl and she said yes to me. The file is when I did my first wholesale deal. The file is the first time I bought a property. The file is the first time I did a kickflip on my skateboard. The file is the first time I scored a goal in lacrosse, right? It's different things. But what matters is when I pull up the file, I'm seeing the memory, but more than seeing the memory, I'm actually feeling the feeling of being successful. This is where it gets really important. So take a note here. What I'm going for more than anything is I'm going for the feeling. So that's why when I ask my brain to show me the file, I'm not judging whatever file it brings up, because whatever file that comes up first typically is the one that carries the most amount of emotion with it. There's a reason it bubbled to the top faster than every other file. So that's the one I'm going to work with, because I'm not looking for a big victory or a little victory. Just show me a victory. Show me the time I felt victorious. Show me the time I felt like a winner. Show me the time I felt successful. Because now as that feeling starts to come over me, what happens is my nervous system, my body, my physiological body, because it's in a relaxed state, starts to re-embody. It starts to live in that emotion again. It starts to gain that emotion in the present moment. So it's pulling a past emotion into the present moment. This is where it gets interesting, because now, remember how in step 2, we were looking at that movie screen and we're seeing that desired future? What I'm going to do is, while I'm feeling this feeling of success, while I'm feeling this feeling of feeling like a winner, I'm going to go back into that same movie theater and I'm going to look at that image again, right? And it could be me standing in front of a multifamily complex that I purchased. It could be me buying my mom a house. It could be me just simply looking in the mirror and being proud of the man I see, because I know that I can live authentically, that if a camera crew followed me around all day long, 24/7, I would be proud to show that footage to the world. I'm going to watch that movie screen with that feeling, and I'm going to begin to paint on that movie screen. I'm going to add color in, because maybe the first time I saw it, I didn't see it with that much detail. I saw it in black and white. Now with that emotion, with that feeling of success and victory, I'm going to begin to paint in that movie. I'm going to turn that into a 4K film, and I'm going to start to look for details. I'm going to start to look for the details and see some of the more minor things. Okay, look at the watch I'm wearing. Okay, look at, oh, that's the person I'm talking to. I didn't even notice them in the background. Wow, I have those friends there. Oh, that car in the background, that must be mine. I'm going to see more details in this vision. And I'm going to start to see the type of person I am. I'm going to start to see the characteristics of that person in that ideal future. This is going to begin to shape the self-identity, because now what's happening is, as I'm more relaxed, I'm in the emotional part of my mind. See, the subconscious mind is also known as the emotional mind. I want to operate from that emotion, because now I'm feeding my subconscious with a new image. See, the subconscious does not care. It does not know the difference between real and fake, imagined and reality. It doesn't matter. So I'm beginning to feed it now in the language that it knows. I'm beginning to feed it the sort of source material it needs with it, which is emotional image. Emotional images is what it needs, right? This is why trauma gets locked into your subconscious mind so quickly, because there's so much emotion coming in. It's speaking the language of the subconscious mind. Up here in the conscious mind, it's all intellectual. It's very headspacey, right? This is why you can know better, but not necessarily do better. It's not until you emotionalize it. So tap into the emotions that you already have. You already have access to many of the emotions you're going for. And I need, when you do this, to practice it. So if we remember, I'm going to review it really quickly. Step 1. Breathe. Get your body to relax. Step two, place yourself into a movie theater. And it could be anything. It may be for you, it's not the movie theater. Maybe for you, it's sitting in the backyard. You see yourself sitting at a library. It can be a coffee shop, like whatever it is for you. I use the imagery of a movie theater because it's very easy for me to imagine projecting a film onto a big screen. I can visualize that without a lot of work for me. Honestly, it's easy for me. So step two is project the ideal future, something you want to create, something you want to manifest, something you would like to build. The more detail you can see, the better. Step three is going to be go into the past, go into your memories museum, and go and ask to see a moment in time where you were very successful, where you felt the feeling of being a winner. And as you go into that memory, feel that feeling, let it come over you, feel as much of it as you can. And when you have that feeling and it's in your body because your body has been relaxed to whatever degree, again, if you go from, hey, this is me being neutral and when I felt like a winner, I was up here, but like right now I'm feeling like this, and this is as far as I can get. Perfect. Take this and go back into the movie theater and now begin to paint. Over time, what you're going to find is this level of success, this level of feeling great is going to go higher and higher and higher. This is going to be the thing that allows you to go back into that movie theater and paint with more and more detail. This is going to be the thing that allows you to come back out into this world, because what's going to happen is the effects of this will be longer lasting, similar to the effects of trauma, how they last after the trauma has passed, right? After the moment has happened, after the abuse has gone down, after whatever happens, the trauma still lives on in the day to day. The absolute opposite works as well. See the benefits, the good, the success, the victory, the wins, the domination of your conquest, right? Getting through with your goals. The effects of that last long as well, long after the actual event has occurred. This is where it gets cool, right? This is what starts to give you guys. I'm gonna be honest, like I'm gonna be vulnerable and just transparent, because I want you, if you're like, I don't know, like if that's really gonna happen, I'm gonna use myself as an example right now. I used to be extremely nervous about getting on camera. I used to be very nervous about putting myself out there and actually speaking what was going on in my mind. I was afraid. I had fear. I had a lot of fear that people were going to judge me, that people were going to walk away, until I started to do it regardless. And I started to imagine these. I would have imagined conversations in my mind all the time. You guys don't even know the amount of times I've rehearsed talking to crowds. I've rehearsed being on stage, being like a Tony Robbins, being like an Eric Thomas, being like a Les Brown, being like a Jim Rohn, right? Like I imagined being like these guys. I imagined getting people excited, getting people inspired. I imagined being an aspiration for other people because they were aspirations for me. They made me want to change. So I would have these conversations in my mind over and over, and I would start to see it, and it would get me to the place where like the feeling was in me, almost like, man, I think I could do this. I think, man, I feel like I could do this. Like when I had the opportunity to go on stage, I'm going to take that opportunity. I have the opportunity to actually live out the dream, to live out what I'm seeing in my mind. And when I would go on stage, and maybe the first couple of seconds, it's hard, and I'm trying to get my bearings. But then once I got my bearings, I was like living into a groove that had already occurred. It felt familiar. Why did it feel familiar? This is my first time speaking. How could it possibly feel familiar if it's something I've never actually done? Well, see, the thing is, I had done it. I had done it up here. I had done it in my mind. So that's where the familiar feeling was coming, and it gave me the ability, it allowed me to then step into myself a little bit more with a little bit more ease, right? It started to make it feel normal, feel more confident, feel more comfortable. And that being afraid of actually speaking out on what I truly believe started to go away. It's no longer a part of my identity as much, to be honest with you all. Like I don't actually, my identity now is speak authentically, speak the truth. So now I'm gaining more and more momentum behind that because it's a part of the identity that I've created. It wasn't there originally. I had to manufacture it on my own, right? I had to manufacture it. You can manufacture any identity you want for yourself. You've already done. You actually already manufactured your own identity. If you did consciously, right? Maybe it happened as a mechanism to defend yourself when you were a child, right? Something happened, something traumatic happened, and you wanted to protect yourself. Maybe as a child, you did it consciously as a joke for fun, and you forgot you ever put it on, and then it just stuck on the whole time. You forgot you ever were the one that created it. I want to hand you that power back. Like, take this back. Have it. This is now your ability to go out and create. What if you could create yourself? If you can make yourself into whomever you wanted, who would you be? That's the question to ask yourself. Meet that person. That person's already inside of you. Introduce us, introduce the rest of the world to that person. See, because now when that person starts to come alive, what happens is you start taking the actions automatically, right? The thermostat in your life kicks on, right? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you guys on Instagram. Like right now, you guys are lucky. Like I know you're lucky. I know you're lucky because right now you're getting to hang out with me as I'm on my own journey, as my thermostat is turning the heat up. You guys are getting to catch it early. You're getting to actually watch the change in temperature. You're getting to watch the wave build. I'm very conscious of that. And I'm not, see, here's the interesting thing. When it's a part of your identity and you start to speak these things into existence and you start to speak it out loud and call your shots, it's not being cocky, right? It's just a matter of fact. You're just simply presenting, hey, this is what's going to occur. Because as a part of my identity, I know the thermostat, hey, like if I walk to the room, it's not magic. If I know the thermostat is set to 80, the room is 60 degrees, and I say, hey, in about 20 minutes, the room's going to be 80 degrees. You're not going to look at me and say, wow, that guy is just like, of course it's going to go up to 80 degrees. The thermostat has been set. So you want to set your thermostat, set your financial thermostat, set your emotional thermostat, set your spiritual thermostat, right? You're setting your standard. So I want to see what do we got here. I got some stuff inside the chat over here. The subconscious mind will accept the information that's given to it in an easy, relaxed manner. Correct. And it's easy and relaxed manner in a healthy and positive way. It's at its own perfect time. I am now happy. Man, that's so good. I'm very interested in learning how to change the self-image for the better. Thanks. I love it. So it's critical that we understand this. So what I'm going to be doing is throughout the day, you guys are going to be seeing, I'm going to be coming on for the evening Mindset Espresso. We're going to be having these kind of conversations. We're going to be talking about these sort of topics, right? There's so many topics I want to be able to come on here and speak about and communicate on and have these sort of conversations, right? Like, let me know from you guys, like drop a fire in the chat if this sort of topic, if these conversations are beneficial, if you think we should have more of these conversations. I want to know, drop fire in the chat. I really want to know. I want to understand my goal, my mission, my purpose here on earth. And we're about to get a little deep. Like I'm hanging out. There's a couple of us. I think it's about 8 of us in total. There's 5 of us on IG, 3 of us on YouTube, right? Yeah, we got a big crowd right now. Hey, first off, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out on Instagram and hanging out on IG with me right now. Like this is insane. Like I appreciate you guys immensely. Seriously, like I really, really, really do. Because again, this is something that used to make me nervous. I used to be scared to go and start putting myself out there. What if no one watches? What if they do watch and they think I'm a total idiot? Man, like what if only one person's there and that one person is looking for like other people and they're like, wow, this guy's weird, and like they don't want to leave because they're just trying to be nice. Right? Like those would be the thoughts. Those are the thoughts that used to go through my mind. Right? Those are the thoughts that go through a lot of our minds, right? And that's the old identity trying to come back alive. It's trying to fight its way back to the top. Yo, let the new identity come in. So I'm going to be doing videos like this more regularly. The goal is to provide value. The goal is to really share what I've learned. I spent over a decade. Well, no, let me not say over a decade. It's been just about a decade because I started diving into this information and knowledge around the time I was 19 years old because I was tired of just going through life quietly. I was living a very safe existence. Just to give some of you a quick story, some of you are going to get a quick backstory of Marlon, and I promise I'm going to let you get back to your Saturday. You know, growing up, I was a very quiet, timid young man. I didn't speak my opinion at all. I didn't speak my mind at all. I basically had no opinion, right? I just kept it all to myself because I never wanted to stir the ship. I didn't want to rock the boat. Some of you could relate to that. Some of you are like, absolutely, that is not me. Some of you are like, no, like you were opinionated. I was jealous of the opinionated people. I was jealous of your ability to step into a room and command the room and show up and say, this is what I want, and unapologetically demand what you wanted. I couldn't do that. I was way too nervous. I was way too scared of losing what I thought was people's respect, losing what I thought was my status, losing the. It was just a lot. I lived in a scarce world. I had scarcity mindset. I had scarcity mindset around everything. That everything that I could possibly have took so long to gather that I didn't want to lose it. Crazy, right? Right? Maybe some of you relate to that. I don't know. To be honest, I never even like said this out loud, so I'm surprised I'm saying it right now. But I was so scared of losing it all that I would just quietly hide in the back and just hope no one ever tried to take it from me. So as I left high school and as I started to step out into the real world, right? And by the real world, I just mean like a place where no one was telling me what to do anymore, right? And like it was really up to me. Everything, I started to have that realization of, wow, my life is literally up to me. If I want it to be good, I've got to make it good. If it's going to be bad, it's because of me. Like I had to take ownership of my life. I decided, you know what? Like I'm tired of being that quiet dude. I'm tired of being the person that other people speak for. How many of you have had that? Like people would say like, oh, what's up with him? And then someone else would start answering for you. Other people would speak for you. I was tired of being the person that was allowing the rest of the world to speak on my behalf, speak for me, tell the rest. No, no. So I had an experiment. I had a thought experiment. Hey, can I change myself? Is it possible for me to change myself? Is it possible for me to not be this person anymore? Because truth be told, I don't really like this person that I am. That's how I felt at 19. I did not like the person. When I looked into the mirror, I was not proud of the person I saw. He was just a small, little, scared kid. So the experiment began. I said, I wonder if I could, like, for lack of better terms, brainwash myself. I literally, this was like the conversation I had. Can I brainwash myself into being a happier person, into being a better person, into being a bigger person? And I started doing this. I started like indoctrinating myself with like positive videos, positive affirmations, things of that nature. And what I found was, a few months had gone by and I was living a different life, totally different life. I wasn't getting upset. Little things weren't bothering me anymore. I was being opinionated. I was going out and making friends with strangers. I was showing people who I really was. Like, guys, I'm an anime nerd. I like anime. Like I sit down, like my roommate like thinks it's kind of funny. He'll walk by every now and then. I'm sitting in the room watching like My Hero Academia, right? Or I'm watching like Attack on Titan or Full Metal Alchemist. Like I like anime. I used to not share that with people. I would date a girl and not let her know I was into anime, right? So I realized, all right, cool, I changed. Like I was accepting myself. What happened though? Like, how did I do this? And can I do it again? And I started diving into Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And that was just a rabbit hole that put me on the path of personal development, which led me to becoming a parkour athlete, to running one of the largest parkour programs in the US, to moving into the space of entrepreneurship, starting a few businesses, having fun with them, exiting them, not like big, massive exits, but just like exiting them as in stopping them and moving on to other things and becoming ultimately an entrepreneur and a real estate investor, right? This journey has been 10 years in the making and it's still continuing. And ultimately, my goal here is to share with you all, share with people that need this. Because I used to think now, the last 10 years, I've been living in my own snow globe of a bubble, that I assumed everybody was already working on personal development. I assumed everybody knew what I knew. I assumed that people understood how to change their self-image. I just assumed that everyone else already knew this. I was late to the party. But when I realized in a lot of circles, I'm the only one that got on that train. Not a lot of people got on that train yet. Not a lot of people even know that that train is in the station that they're currently standing in. So my mission, my goal is to actually get people on that train. I want to see people grow to the next level. That's why I have these conversations. That's why I'm obsessed with mindset. That's why I want to always talk about growth, always talk about the dreams, always talk about bringing the power of the imagination back. So it starts with things like this, right? Like I'm always going to give out this sort of content for free. I work with people at a higher level. I have people that are paid clients. I've worked with people one-on-one, right? I work with people across the board, right? I want to be able to help people that can't afford anything. I want to be able to help the people that are already producing at a high level go to a higher level. I spent over a decade gathering this information and making sense of it and applying it to see that it works so that I'm able to convey it with conviction because I know it works. Change your self-image, you change your life. Learn to speak to your subconscious mind. Self-mastery is the thing that you need to do. It's not your KPIs. It's not your business partner. It is self-mastery. The more that you learn to master yourself, I promise you, the other things will fall in line. The other things will fall in line. Now, I've got an entire opinion about what that means, and I don't know if I should get into it right now, but there's a book. There's a couple books. This is the first book. I got to give homage to this one. Shout out to Kayla and why did I just blank on her husband's name? They hooked me up with this Bible. Mario. Shout out to Kayla and Mario. They hooked me up with a Bible 2 years ago. And that is the best book on personal development I have ever read. And I will continue to read this book till the day I die. Fantastic book. Everything you ever need to know is inside scripture. After that, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. You need that book in your library. You need to read that book once a quarter. After that, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. You need that book in your library. You need to read that book once a quarter. These are the things that are going to start moving you in the right direction. You need to start changing your campfire. You need to make sure that you're around people that are actively growing you. You need to take energy audits on people. Who in here? Put it in the chat. Just throw one in the chat. I need to know right now. When you are spending time with people, how many of you have ever spent time with people that they drain you? Right? People that you spend time with, conversating, commuting with, talking to. Maybe they live in your house. Maybe they work with you. Maybe you see them in passing. Maybe they were your childhood friends and you grew up in the sandbox. You spend time with them, and afterwards, when you leave them, you feel drained. How many of you feel drained when you hang out with certain people? And you don't need to call out their name, right? Grace feels drained. Ken feels drained. Who else feels drained? How many people feel drained sometimes when you talk to people? Tony's saying he feels drained. Who else? All right, so just a few. I feel drained. There's some people that I've spent time with that I feel drained. Take energy audits. Yo, if you're draining me, I don't have time for you. I've got to grow. I've got to continue to develop. I've got to serve more people. I can't serve more people if you're taking away my resource. So I'm going to start to wrap this one up here. But before I wrap this one up here today, I'm going to actually go through a quick quote with you. Actually, two things. Number one, some of you I already, I get to see you every morning, right? Some of you are part of my community. Some of you come to the morning mindset coffee calls every morning, right? We got the evening mindset espresso. So shout out to this, the evening mindset espresso. I forget who gave me this name. I think it might have been Daryl or Maurice, but essentially the way right now we're having a little bit of a conversation, you're mostly listening to me speak right now because this is a one-way monitor, right? I'm here on this side. You're on the other side viewing. What I prefer more than this is actually a back and forth conversation. So that happens every morning, Monday through Friday. We actually have a room together. It's not just me, it's other entrepreneurs in multiple industries. It's entrepreneurs in real estate, entrepreneurs in trucking, entrepreneurs in stock options, entrepreneurs in credit, entrepreneurs in staging. Right? It's just different people doing different things at high levels, brand new newbies to people that are doing six figures a month. All coming together every single morning, Monday through Friday, to connect, to work on their mindset, to get clarity. If you ever stepped into your work day, into your weekday, and you feel like, damn, I do not know what to do. I don't know what direction, I'm ready to go. I could work hard, Marlon, but I don't know what to actually do. And I kind of feel lost and I feel alone. And I feel like no one freaking gets it because everyone around me is a 9-to-5er and no one's trying to go big. No one's dreaming big. So they kind of make me feel weird. You're in the wrong room. Come and connect with the right type of people. It's critical. It is mission critical to be plugging into the right campfire, right? I've created that room. Together, we as a community get together in the morning. We have these high-level conversations. We ask the right questions that prime us for the day. We're able to step into the workday, not just with enthusiasm, but also with clarity. We start in the morning so that as you get that focus focus, you're actually able to apply the workday after it. Instead of getting inspired late in the evening and going to sleep and losing it all, right? Because I've done that. I've watched the Tony Robbins video. I've watched the Pace Morby video. I've watched the Eric Thomas video at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm ready to run through the wall. And then I go to sleep. And I wake up the next morning and I'm like, crap, it's gone. The fire is gone. That motivation to get up and go, it's all gone. I have to go rebuild all that momentum again. So I solved that. I solved that problem. Right? We do this 7 a.m. Eastern. We're getting ourselves right first thing in the morning as a group, being able to have a conversation back and forth, being able to get clarity, being able to ask questions, ask for help before I even start my workday. And now that I have focus, now that I have the most important asset, my focus, my concentration, my attention, I can properly direct it. I can properly go out and build. I can properly go out and construct. And I've got teammates that I can pull along with me if I need them. Crazy valuable. That's Morning Mindset Coffee. You need to be inside that room. I'm putting it up right now on the wall. You need to be inside the room. Morning Mindset Coffee. Go to the morningmindsetcoffee.com link right now. Go and register. Be in the room this week. It's $1 to try it out. I made the barrier to entry so stinking low because I do not want there to be any excuse. Right? I do not want you to say like I can't afford to do anything else. I can't. I don't know if I have time for it. It's in the morning before anything else starts. If you're commuting to work, you're going to listen. You're going to be in that room with us on your commute. If you're at the gym, you're going to be in the gym listening and talking with us at the same time. Go check out morningmindsetcoffee.com right now. Go and register right now. You do not want to be looking at this as something like, dang, I should have did that when I first heard about it. Right? The amount of people that have come in and said, afterwards, the only thing that they regretted was that they didn't sign up sooner. It's unreal. We over-deliver value. That is my goal, to over-deliver value every single time, every single day. So that's morningmindsetcoffee.com. You need to go inside there immediately, today. Click the link in my bio if you're on Instagram. Sign up right now, right? Do it with urgency. Do it with urgency because here's what happens. Right now, you're feeling a little fired up. Right now, you've got a little bit of energy. You're inspired, right? Your energy when you're at a higher state is when you're most likely to do something. If you don't take action when you're in a state like this, what do you think is going to happen when you start to cool back down and you start to chill back down? You're going to start to get pulled back into your regular routine, right? You want to get better. You need to be around better people. You need to be around higher frequency. You need to have that proximity. You need to be plugged in. That is how you grow. That is the fastest way to grow. It is to plug in with other people that are growing. You need to be doing that. Yo, what up, Daryl? Daryl, come through, man. Come on the stage, bro. I'm going to actually send an invite to Daryl real quick. Daryl, I'll text you, man. Bro, why are you not here? Daryl is my brother from another mother. I love that dude. So you need to be able to do this. Number 2 now. See, this is what happens. I see Daryl and I get distracted. This is the power of being around good quality people. They will distract you in a positive way. But go and register for that. Daryl, let me see. I'm just going to send Daryl this text, see if he wants to jump in here before we jump out. Daryl, I just shot you the link for StreamYard. All right, perfect. So, actually, you can put it right here too. So check that out. Go and sign up ASAP. I really mean that. The goal is to over-deliver value. And we're going to actually have another conversation about that. We're not going to do it tonight because I can stay on here forever. I can stay on here forever. The second thing I want you to do is DM me the word goal. Because what I'm going to be doing at the beginning of Q3 is I'm going to be running a challenge for people. It's going to be the New Year in July challenge. I'm running the New Year in July challenge. And here's what this looks like. At the beginning of every new year, at the beginning of 2022, you had set some really fantastic freaking goals, right? You were inspired, you were hyped up, you spent like the last 3 weeks of December putting it all together. You drew the vision board, you had the map, you had it all, you were ready to go. Now we are coming up to the end of Q2, and I want to know, are you achieving what you said you were going to achieve? Are you still moving in the same direction? Were you even moving in the right direction to begin with? I want to know that. I want to understand Ooh, let's bring Daryl up on the stage. What up, Daryl? What's good, bro? So are you moving in the right direction? What I'm going to be doing with this challenge is it's going to be a 5-day challenge. We're going to be spending 5 days together, 1 hour a day, each day. And I'm going to be walking you through some techniques that I've learned from Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins directly on how to gain clarity in not just your business, but also inside of your life. How to really clear away the clutter. See, a lot of the things that you guys are doing right now is adding more to your plate. What we don't need to add any more to the plate. What we actually need to do right now, we're in a place and we're in a situation where we need to begin taking things off the plate. You need to start pulling things off the plate and you need to start getting focused. Right? We live in a time in our lives where it has never been easier to make more money than we currently like. This is the easiest time it's ever been to make money ever in human history. The challenge is this is the hardest time in human history to keep and maintain our focus and attention. There's so many things. The hardest time to keep your focus and attention. Yo, I appreciate that. Bro, Danola. Yo, thank you, Danola. Danola said he just jumped in. He just bought into Morning Mindset, bro. Appreciate you, dog. Right? So this is the hardest time to maintain attention and focus. That is your superpower. If I can get you to understand one thing tonight, it will be that your superpower is your ability to maintain attention and focus. So we're going to be going through a couple of things. I have some actually really cool workshops, some really cool printouts that I take you through, that by the end of it, when you're finished, you are so crystal clear on exactly what you need to do, on the path you need to walk, on the steps you need, the skills you need to obtain, the people you need to connect with. You're so crystal clear on it that you're able to block out all the other distractions and move forward. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, simply go and DM me the word goal, right? GOAL, goal. DM me that. DM me the word goal, or DM me the word clarity, right? You're going to get put on the wait list. I'm not taking a ton of people into that because I want it to be a tight-knit group. In fact, there'll be a questionnaire so I can figure out if you're the right fit for that, because I want to make sure that as you're learning from me, you're also learning from each other. The power of a mastermind, the power of a group is actually the people, the individuals that come within it as well. So go ahead and DM me the word goal or DM me the word clarity, right? On my Instagram, that's where you're going to DM it to me. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, go onto my Instagram at MindsetMarlon and just shoot me a DM, goal and clarity. It's going to automatically, what's going to happen is an auto web form. It's going to shoot you a link and it's going to be a Google form. And you're just going to fill in your information there. And then from there, I'm going to follow up with you. So first off, again, I want to say thank you all. Daryl jumped in here, but he said his connection was terrible. He jumped in on the Facebook and the YouTube. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on a Saturday. This was absolutely amazing. When I leave this, just drop a comment. Let me know if there's a topic you want me to speak on. I already have a list of things that we need to get through first, but also let me know what it is you need help with. I am more than happy to help. I'm here to serve. Again, you're looking at someone that has over 10 years of personal development knowledge inside of him, as well as the experience. Now, I'm going to give you this as well. I'm going to say this. I've been studying personal development for over 10 years. And man, if you're hanging out with me right now, you're about to get one of the deepest things. I really do not share this with people. So I got 3 people on Facebook Live and YouTube. I got 3 people here on IG right now, still kicking it. So it's 7 of us in the room right now. So I'm just talking to the 7 of us right now. This is something I don't say often. Although it's recorded, I don't know how many people are going to go backwards and watch this, but you guys are going to get to hear this from me right now. Something I don't share often is when I was growing up, I, like many young boys, looked at my father as a hero. And my father, he had this ability to sit down and actually take in information. Like, see, he can open up a book and he can read that book and he can just absorb an unbelievable amount of information. He was actually able to I would go to him. He was like my personal encyclopedia. Hey, Dad, what's this? Hey, Dad, what's that? Hey, Dad, how do I do this? And he would have answers for me. He'd be able to spit out answers. And then he would always be able to spit out these random facts. And I thought that was kind of cool when I was growing up. And as I got a little bit older, See, I started to run into a situation where as I got a little bit older, here's what happened. Here's what I noticed. I noticed that a lot of the information he was giving to me, he wasn't really ever doing anything with. Right? I would look and I would say, like, he would start telling me about, what's happening in Syria or what's happening in the Ukraine or what's happening in random parts of the world. And I was like, all right, Dad, so, why are we learning this? What are we doing with this information? Like, are we going to go help? Are we going to build something? Are we creating a solution? It was just information for the sake of having information. And I started to almost hate the gathering of information because it wasn't being used. There was no implementation to the information, so it never changed any situations. And it was driving me crazy. So internally, I had this like fear that I was always afraid. I was scared that, wow, what if I become like him one day? What if I just become this person that goes and gathers all this information and never applies it? So as I started to dive into the personal development in the early stages of it, I found myself reading the personal development books and like going through it and absorbing all the information and knowing all the facts, but not watching my life change. I wasn't watching my situation change. And I was wondering, why wasn't my situation change? Like I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was listening to Les Brown. I was listening. Why wasn't it changing faster? I wasn't applying. I wasn't applying the information. I wasn't leaping off the cliff. So I made it a point when I noticed this early on. I made it a point that as I learn, I'm going to practice. I'm going to implement. I'm not going to wait a very long time. I'm not going to wait until it's perfect. Hence why you guys see like my setup is growing as I go, right? You're watching me figure out StreamYard in real time. You're watching me figure out Instagram Live in real time. You're not watching me wait, right? You're watching me grow and take the information. You're watching me figure it out. Right now, there are certain things that I have already figured out. I haven't figured out everything, but there's things I know that absolutely work. That's why tonight I was able to come on and speak about the change of the self-image. That's why I can speak so confidently about it, because I've already done it. And I've done it several times. I've helped other people do it. So I can speak confidently on these matters. And I'm going to continue to help more and more people do it. 7.8 billion people on this planet. We got a big mission. I got a lot of people to serve. So I just wanted to share that I'm over here on my YouTube. I see Tim jumped in. Oh, shoot, this is super cool. So Instagram, I might tune out for a second, but I'm going to change my attention over here to Tim. Yo, what's up, Tim?
What's up, man?
Dude, how are you, bro? The people on
I
Instagram.
am amazing. How about you?
Facebook, Ken. I'm doing pretty good, man.
Good.
So what's going on? What did you take away from tonight?
Well, it's a lot to think about to the mindset and just everything that you've been saying. It's kind of hard to articulate it, but basically, you become what you think about. Basically,
That's big. And it's true. You become what you think about. Absolutely. And being able to think about it in a relaxed manner as well.
correct. Yeah, an easy and relaxed manner, a healthy and positive way for the highest good of all. Obviously, moving in the right direction to help others and not being selfish. So that's kind of what I'm getting out of it, and just basically reprogramming your mind, because a lot of people have limiting beliefs and they have to overcome their like things that are holding them back. Like you said, when you go into a room and you've had negative experiences, you might be anticipating people being angry or hostile or whatever, but if your experiences have mostly been positive, then you anticipate having positive experiences, so you basically attract what you think about, either positive or negative. So I mean, those kind of things I've been thinking about.
I love it. No, Tim, and that's spot on, right? And being able to recognize that. And let me ask you a question, Tim. Have you seen that ever in your own life personally? Like whether you've attracted something good or something bad? Like, can you think back to your own personal case history where you're like, you know what? I absolutely pulled this into my life.
Yes, I've attracted a lot of positive in my life and also a lot of negative in both ways. So yeah, I mean, the biggest deal I ever did, I made 400 grand, and I don't say that. I mean, some might say I got extremely lucky, and I think I was lucky or fortunate in that situation. but in some ways I attracted it. In other cases, I've, some bad things have happened as well. Did I attract them? Possibly from thinking negative. I'll put it that way. So yeah, it does definitely work.
Absolutely. And I would say, like even like the first off, like congrats on like attracting that big deal. I agree with you. It's not luck, right? Because there's nothing lucky about showing up, doing the work, putting the intention out there, putting the desire out there, putting, hey, this is what I want. Ask and you shall receive, right? You asked. On some level, you asked for it. So it came. Same token, the negative, it's the same situation, right? And the reason it's a good thing and the reason I want to clarify it is because when we recognize that, hey, even the negative things that have come to me, I asked for, it leaves me in a situation where I have control, where I'm able to do something about my life and I'm not a victim to my life. I'm not just a plastic bag being tossed around in the wind. I can actually set a sail and drive through it. And ultimately, as well, I want to, and this isn't necessarily for you, Tim, but this is more so for someone else that might be listening, because this is the beauty about it. We can learn from each other's situations. Is sometimes the things that are seemingly negative, I don't call them negative anymore. I just call them the darker moments in life. The darker moments in life are actually a part of the great thing we're asking for, because these are the developmental stages of life. So when we're asking, hey, can I get this? Can I get that? We're also, for the most part, I'm assuming we want to be able to hold on to the things that we receive, right? We want to be able to enjoy it. So it's like, hey, if I really want that nice big block of gold, I might also want to be strong enough to carry it around. So I might go through a moment that's a darker moment in life that's putting me through some resistance to build me strong enough to actually hold my treasure. So when I see the bad things or the darker things that happen to us, I recognize it as, oh wow, I wonder which good thing this is a part of. I wonder what good thing I asked for that this is a part of the workout routine that gets me to that result.
Yeah, yeah, it's for sure. Um, it's a lot to think about. A lot to think about. It's just like you mentioned that you're a parkour athlete, and if anybody does athletics and they're in good shape, they didn't get that way by accident. So if somebody is achieving success in their life, having a lot of friends, making a lot of money, it's not by accidents because they were intentional about it. And even if they have good relationships with their family or extended family, they're intentional about it and they're attracting those positive experiences. And on the flip side, if they're having negative experiences, they're also probably attracting that subconsciously. Not some people sabotage themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot because the experiences have been so negative in the past. They're expecting it to be negative in the future, and they kind of attract that negativity to them. So they need to kind of reprogram their mind to attract more positive and healthy relationships.
And I'm raising my hand because I've done that. I've done that plenty of times. Right? Like I've self-sabotaged. I've sabotaged relationships because I was anticipating when something was going to happen. So I would create that moment, right? So we do this all the time, and awareness starts to allow us to move on from it, right? Being able to consciously create what we want versus not creating what we don't want, and that Tim, I'm gonna do a video on that one day as well, where I go in and speak deeply on this concept of how important it is. It's a very important skill to recognize the things you don't want, however, not to focus on it, to be aware of it, but then to actually just simply decide to focus on what we do want, because focusing on what we don't want, although we believe is a good thing by saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, and being clear on it, we're creating a mental image. We're creating a mental image of what we don't want. And ultimately, we're feeding that image over and over and over to the mind. The mind doesn't see the word don't. It doesn't, when we paint the picture, it's not seeing, oh, he doesn't want that. It's just seeing that's the image he keeps feeding us. So that must be what he's going for. That must be what she's asking. Hey, I don't want to be cheated on. Oh, he keeps saying cheated on. He keeps seeing this picture of being cheated on. I don't want the deal to fall apart. Hey, he keeps seeing the deal falling apart. He must really want that deal to fall apart. So it's a cool thing.
It's funny you say that. Some people get bitten by dogs pretty frequently, and other people have never been bitten by dogs. Coincidence? I think not. As they say, dogs and bees can smell fear. So You know what I mean? They kind of attract that to them, unfortunately. Not always, but sometimes, you know.
That's spot on.
Some people are really good with dogs. They're not fearful at all. But other people are very fearful of dogs, and the dog sense it. And for some reason, they don't know quite. They can't put their finger on it, but they're like, there's something about this guy, and they go bite him.
It's spot on. Well, Tim, we're going to wrap this one up, man. I appreciate you for coming on here, hanging out, being brave enough to actually click the link to join in. Anyone that's been watching on IG, like we got Tim on Facebook, on YouTube right now. He jumped in through the StreamYard link. So if you ever want, go to the YouTube page, and this is how you can be a part of the conversation. We can actually have a live back and forth. I've also done it on Instagram live as well, but I like doing it on the StreamYard. It's a little bit more fun to look at someone on a bigger screen on my computer. But Tim, I appreciate you coming up, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Of course. So, guys, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to figure out how to do this outro. I've been playing around with StreamYard. Like I said, this is real time. So we're going to figure out how to do the StreamYard sign out. So let me see if I can make this work. Here we go. I found this. We got sign out music and everything. So, again, I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the evening. Saturday, the midnight evening mindset espresso. We have not locked in on like the third time. They will be sporadic on my mind schedule. Always best a lot of morning. Every single day, Monday to Friday. Sign in, go to the website, check that out. I appreciate you all. Make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube page, subscribe to the Facebook page, and subscribe on YouTube. Enjoy the rest of the day. I will see you all soon.